All right, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the market wrap up with myself, Michael Nauss from StatsEdge Trading. We're going to go through crypto, we're going to go through FX. I don't think I really found anything. More importantly, we're going to go through the stock market and individual names there as well. Again, if you want all of the screenshots that are associated with all the charts I go through and access to my watch list, which you can just import right into Trade Ideas, you just copy and paste a link. Go to statsedgetrading.com, sign up for the email list there. Also, if you don't have Trade Ideas, you want to give it a shot, use Stats Edge at checkout. Save yourself 15%. So it's Bitcoin, right? Anyone who's been watching this for any length of time, this is what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is very obnoxious to trade for people who don't have patience, because it will spend very long periods of time, weeks, sometimes a month, doing absolutely nothing, and then just pop out of the blue. And we're doing that, but the fact that we're really tight against this resistance, I think, is definitely a net positive. Again, I have a stop limit above here to get me into this if things get rolling, because it's going to happen on like Sunday night or something when I'm sleeping. I know. So again, just know that, right, Bitcoin doesn't do anything till the moment wants to do everything, and then it will do everything in a day or two, and you got to kind of be ready for that. So into the stock market, there's nothing I found that was interesting in the equity place, but the S&P 500 here, main thing I wanted to talk about today is we had a doji candle. I'm going to zoom in real deep on 1.53 RVOL. So that basically means today we did 150% normal volume. So, if say we did 1 million shares on average, we did 1.5 million today, right? So quite a bit, especially for an ETF, quite a bit of increased volume today, probably because of the CPI report. The main thing I want to talk about is just the candle itself, right? So for those who haven't studied candlestick, a doji just kind of represents indecision. You have basically came in, pushed down, then pushed up, and then came back down. So the idea is that the bulls tried to fight and then they lost, and then the bears tried to fight and then they lost, or vice versa. So both sides lost, and it basically closed right where it opened. The reason that this is a significant candlestick, especially on increased volume, is it just shows indecision. So we are, even though we gapped up, we are over this resistance, and all of that is very, very good. We're broken out of these ranges I was talking about yesterday. We fought hard. We fought hard on increased volume. That makes me think the next move is going to be very interesting. I don't know if it's going to be up or down, but quite often, if you think about it kind of like a coiled spring, when you have these dojis on a high volume, you have these battles that occur, and then when that pressure lets go, you have these move, right? So if you look, we have a little doji right here. We had an explosion the next day, and that doji actually happened on higher than normal volume, and then we popped up. We had this kind of run from here. We had a little doji here that wasn't on higher volume. Let me see if I can just quickly spot any other. No, there's really nothing that stands out at first glance, but you get the idea, right? Both sides put up their best fight. Neither side got anything done. So when we get a movement in one way or the other, that's when I think something cool and interesting is going to happen. Oil, the only other ETF I want to talk about, but oil continues its march. So we have broken out of this kind of range right here. Do a little box on oil. We broke out of that yesterday, and then we continued today. So we continue to push higher on oil. If we go to the weekly chart, I know the weekly candles aren't done yet, but this is the chart I published in the weekend report. Again, same thing. You just go to StatsEdge Trading, sign up for the email, and you'll get the weekend report as well. The idea was that this area of support was a pretty significant area, and then we had this downtrend line right here that I was saying when it was that candle right there, that, if we get through this, maybe we start pushing higher. It seems like maybe, we still have 2 days left, but it seems like we're kind of breaking out of that little area there. So oil is very interesting as well. So trades that came through today. So I took SWBI. Sorry, I've got some random drawings here. I was just demoing the software to someone. I put some drawings on, but SWBI, you remember, it was really just a wedge after, like this wedge right here. So you had this big gap up on earnings, and then we consolidated side. And then we popped up. I got triggered in, and it already pulled back a bit, which is not ideal. But another one that I took that was great was this ACAD. When it spent some time in the morning above $25 a share, that's where I got in, and it ran here to almost 26. So now we got to see what happens at this prior high. If we can get above that, then I think we are good to go. Didn't add too many to the list. Again, the same problem I've been having where I have a pretty full portfolio. There is not much I can add without going, really deep into margin, which is something that I don't like to do. But I want to keep working. So I have a couple here that I was looking to add. And one was MTLX. We actually had this on the list, and then we took it off. But then it showed up again on 2 scans that I run. One is this anchored VWAP before the gap, right? So we had the gap right here, pull back. It was when it was under this area, I wasn't too interested, but then it popped right back up. Big, good looking candle today. So I added it back to the list after I saw it on our short float scanner. Once I realized it has a third of the float short, and it made this move, that's really, really interesting to me. The theory behind that, and I say it a million times, is you don't want to look at something with a high short float like a Bed Bath & Beyond or an AMC, the things that are in downtrends. The shorts are winning. It doesn't matter if there's millions of shares shorted. Who cares? They're winning. What's AMC going to do? What's Bed Bath & Beyond going to do to announce something amazing? Probably nothing, right? It's not like they're going to say, hey, we invented a new kind of movies. There's no kind of catalyst, but something like this one, immunotherapeutics, if you have a third of a float short right here, all it takes is one good FDA approval, one good passage of something, then all of a sudden this starts moving, like probably what happened in through here, and now these shorts are really, really hurt. And you only get a short squeeze when the shorts are hurt. You don't get it when the shorts are loving life. Also speaking with, I don't know why this is way up here, but that's where it was. So I also added this to the list as well with this CELH. They make an energy drink, I guess. Probably, I haven't seen them up here in Canada anyway, but almost 40% of the short float, or of the float short. And if you go back, this weekly chart in the corner, this thing's just been an absolute ripper. So you love when it's a heavy short float and it's in an uptrend making new highs, because that's how you know those shorts, they're really, really hurt. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words a little bit. Chuck has had a rough couple nights. My brain is barely functioning, but we're going to get through this. So the idea is if we can break and close over 150, you see all the topping tails around that 150, we know that all of these shorts, they're all hurt because this is making new highs. Things making new lows, shorts are winning. Things making new highs, shorts are losing. So maybe they'll have to come around and cover again. Last but not least, Netflix. I usually don't trade these super mega cap guys. They're a little bit slow for me. But look at the weekly chart is a nice solid uptrend here. And then the daily chart, we have this really nice tightening pattern with all these bottoming tails going in here. So if we can break that, we can break through 450. I think we can get a little bit of push on Netflix. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Thanks for coming by. Again, if wherever you're seeing this, give it a like or a retweet or something like that. The algorithms love it. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.